Sir, we're at the Beverly Hills Police Department. Are you Mr. Sidney Bernstein?
Yes, lucky guess.
Well, sir, you have 25 unpaid parking tickets. We have a warrant for your arrest.
25? What 25?
You have 25 unpaid parking tickets, sir?
I pay my tickets. I pay all my tickets.
Sir, do you own a black Mercedes-Benz license plate number CRL 507?
507? That's my wife's car. That's not my car. That's
you have 25 unpaid parking tickets.
It's under my name, but it's my wife's car. No. Bitch!
Tickets have not been paid. That means you're liable. Can you cuff Mr. Bernstein, please?
Cuff me? There are people out there with chainsaws. You're cuffing me.
Well, sir, you have 25 unpaid parking tickets, and it's your car, so we have to take you in.
Wait a second. I've got an idea. Is there something that I have in this office that I could hand to you and that would make you kind of forget that you're holding those little pink tickets there?
What are you trying to say, sir?
Like you'd be holding something in that hand, and this hand you'd forget about. This hand you'd be concentrating on. That hand you'd go, what did I have there? I don't even remember.
Oh, you mean like if I had, $200 in this hand?
Ouch! Let go of my arm! $200! Ouch! Please, I'm robbing you. That's what I'm doing. Here's one, here's two. They're real crisp.
Wow, what acting. Even Gilbert says that's the worst scene in movie history. Now, was he a parrot in that?
No.
Robin?
That was his greatest role, and I don't think he was a parrot there, though.
His greatest role was when he was a parrot.
Wow.
Here is Gilbert Gottfried. I like when you're a parrot.
He does very well as animals.
Yeah. I don't like when he's Gilbert. I like when he's a parrot.
People like him when he's an animal.
There are subtle differences.
Sit down. There are subtle differences between that and the parrot?
Oh, yes.
Liar.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah, the difference is you can't see Gilbert.
Gilbert, get close to that microphone, please.
Oh, okay.
I told you not to be stupid.
Yeah.
Long time no see.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
hey, I understand. Hey, look who's here. Gilbert Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Gilbert Seinfeld, I understand that you just broke up a marriage.
Well, I thought that the marriage, to me, was a sacred institution. And you know how nice institutions are.
Don't you believe that, were you shocked, by the way, when you read that, and now I'm talking to Gilbert.
No. Yes.
You got to tell him.
Because you always make fun of other comics.
Yes.
Don't you think it was funny that Jerry Seinfeld, who can certainly get any woman he wants, being famous and wealthy, that he always has to, it's not enough to go after a regular woman. He has to go after either a 16-year-old or a woman who's married. Why? Is it that it makes it more exciting?
Well, I like to go after 8-year-old girls who are married.
I must take one phone call before we begin the news, and I'm sure Gilbert's plugging something. That's the only reason he'd be here. David, you're on the air. David.
Hello.
Or is it David? David is no longer there. I'm sorry about that.
Yes.
I can't believe it. Since you've been here, Gilbert, what have you gotten for free?
Oh, okay. No, actually, nothing just yet.
It's so funny for me to look at Gilbert because when remember when he was in the hospital when he was dying?
Yeah.
And then he had that, he had his appendix removed and they couldn't even close the wound because he wasn't healing.
I know, he was laying there with that big pack on his belly.
Yeah, and he had to wear special loose pants when he got out. Now I've seen him in jeans and a shirt. I'm like, wow, I guess his belly healed.
Now he can wear regular clothes.
So looking at him, going, good thing, because on our old show you couldn't see all that.
Yes.
On this show you could see everything.
Yeah, we removed that desk that hit Gilbert.
Now you can see what a piece of ass I really am.
What are you doing these days? Are you dating anyone?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really? Are you?
Yeah, I'm just getting laid like crazy.
I bet you are. You know, he does get laid. Because every time we open up the phones, we hear from girls who have had sex with him.
Well, let's do it today. I want to hear from him.
And you know what? Benji tried to pre-interview Gilbert.
Yeah.
So, he'd say to Gilbert, hey, Gilbert, when you were in high school, who were your heroes? And he goes, I prefer not to speak about anything that happened to me before I was 20 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know my first kiss?
Yeah.
He hasn't had it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That must have been some upbringing.
Yes.
I think he's very scarred.
Well, we went to the hospital. We saw his mom and his mother sitting there with him, and it looked like they were all strangers. Nobody
Really, I thought the wrong family had walked into Gilbert's room and they were too embarrassed to tell him.
Because Gilbert's like this to me. He goes, could you buy me some pajamas that have elastic so my belly wound won't hurt? And I go, your mom was just here. Why don't you ask her?
He had a mom, a sister. You can't call them?
Oh, is that my mother? He tries to pretend it's not his mother.
Yes.
He didn't even introduce us.
No, they sat there. And every once in a while, his mother might move or something. He said, Mom, don't move.
Don't move.
Yeah, don't move.
You are strange, man. You know what? If you ever did a TV special with your mother and your sister, it would be the greatest television special ever. Everyone would tune in, and you would be a multi-billionaire.
Gilbert Gottfried, This Is Your Life.
It would be I would do Gilbert Gottfried, This Is Your Life. I would like to host it.
Yes.
And it would be the totally serious
Can we
Gilbert.
do that for the CBS show?
Oh, it would blow away that Art Crumb special. It would be unbelievable. But you would never do that, right? You do not want to reveal anything about your personal life.
Yeah, no.
Right.
No.
All right, it's too painful.
Yeah, when I was in the hospital, that's when I was through my old Groucho period.
Right. He was
He was giving up show business.
I swear Gilbert turned to me and goes, I'm going to give up show business. What is the point?
I'm going to help starving children.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know the point anymore. Even if I do get better, what am I really doing with my life? I went,
Actually, when I was there, I sounded like the senile Groucho.
Yeah, you did.
You know, when I worked with Harpo, and we were doing, I think it was a day at the circus. And Harpo would play the harp. That's why we would call him Harpo.
I used to watch those shows when Groucho was because I loved the Marx Brothers.
With the beret.
And they'd say, like, tonight on Dick Cavett,
oh, those
Groucho Marx.
Yes.
And you get all excited because Groucho was going to come out, and you expect that really funny guy to come out.
Or the guy from You Bet Your Life, anything.
Then this old guy in a beret, way too skinny, would walk out, and he could barely walk. And he still had, like, he sort of looked a little like Groucho.
He could give you that look.
Yeah, and he sounded a little like Groucho.
Teeny mustache.
Yeah, and, like, Dick Cavett was ready to catch him in case he fell. And everyone's kissing his ass. And then Groucho would feel real good and go into long, boring stories. And he'd be, like, almost senile.
So we worked in Kansas. And this was, I was staying in a room with Chico.
And
Zeppo would later show up.
Cavett knew nothing about interrupting.
Wore a hat. And hats were what you wore back then when your head was cold.
And Cavett would be like, Cavett would let him go way too long because Cavett doesn't interrupt anyway.
Yeah.
You know, he's like an intellectual.
He just lets him go on.
And he loves to fawn over Groucho because he wants to have a personal relationship with Groucho. And it's a big coup to get Groucho to come out of his stupid retirement home, you know, and do a television show. So Cavett would devote the whole hour to him.
And you'd have an hour of that?
Yeah, it'd be insufferable.
And then they used to, on other shows, they would, like, have, like, obviously prepared questions that he could do a funny answer to.
Like, what do you mean?
You know, like they would go, Groucho, do you ever go fishing?
Well, that sounds awfully fishy to me.
He's quicker than ever.
Right. It would take him an hour to get that sentence out.
So, Groucho, do you ever like eating walnuts?
No, they drive me nuts.
Oh, boy, he just thought of that on his own.
Wow.
What a retort.
You know, Groucho, you're just as sharp as ever, really.
Why am I sharp? I'm not an attack.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, he just thought of that one.
You got a mind like a rocket ship.
And then the host would have to...
It's pretty spacey.
Yeah, thank you.
And then the host would have to laugh way too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't funny.
They'd be feeling, nuts.
Yeah, slapping their knees and everything.
Yeah, that's Groucho.
You're killing me.
You're nuts. And then Groucho would always get up to go to the piano to sing one of his songs.
I once knew a woman who couldn't spell cat. Her face was as ugly as cinch. In winter she always wore last summer's hat, and a size 11 shoe was a pinch.
And then when he started to lose his voice, that's when it got deeper.
Right.
You know.
But how that woman could cook.
A lot of those old Baltimore guys, like George Burns would love to sing on shows.
George Burns would always make
I'd
you
love to
beg
go to
him.
roast, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to roast dip, roast face way, roast time, wintertime pears. I'd love to go to Daisy, but Daisy always tell what sweetest like to whisper in your ear. And then the person in the back would come out, and then they would wave flowers.
And as a kid, I would always wonder, how do these guys get famous? They're the least funny people on the planet. And there's nothing, and they don't even have the ability to know that they're boring.
People would pump them up.
I know.
See, we would go out, and there would be a magic act, and then I would sing the song.
Right.
I once knew a woman who couldn't spell cat.
Gracie was the funny one.
Gracie was always funny.
Yeah, obviously. Unbelievable.
Funny part of the act died.
Yeah, I used to watch, because all I ever did as a kid, my sport was watching television and getting high.
Yeah.
So, that was it. I didn't go out and have friends.
My brother was a lazy kid. 10 days was all the work he did. Word a song entirely wrong.
What used to crack me up about George Burns was they'd say, oh, sing a song for us, George. And George would go, no, I can't sing anymore.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to beg, and the audience would have to applaud, and then he'd do that.
Then he'd shuffle over to the piano. And it was obviously all set up because the piano player was there.
Right.
And then there was that scandal because Groucho was saying bad things about George Burns.
Was he really? I don't remember that one.
He did Radio City.
Right.
He was going, I got a lot more people in Radio City than George Baines. Baines couldn't get anyone in there.
Right.
And I was able.
And Burns was mad at that.
These old feuds.
I missed that one. That's the one thing I missed. Oh, man. And then those were the top guys. Then you had old guys like George Jessel, who were complete boobs. And, you didn't even know why they were famous.
You didn't know what George
It was wonderful when I worked with Tallulah Bankhead.
Right. You didn't say, where did you work with Tallulah Bankhead?
I worked with Tallulah Bankhead. This was many years ago. Merv, Tallulah she's still a beautiful woman today, even though she's been dead for...
Meanwhile, George Jessel was working funerals in Brooklyn. He wasn't with Tallulah Bankhead.
That's what he was famous for.
I know, for doing
I
funerals.
always used to ask, why is this guy on the talk shows?
Yeah,
I've never seen him anywhere.
He waited on Tallulah's table. Be on any shows.
And then they used to have Gypsy Rose Lee on Merv Griffin.
She would, and you were waiting. I was a kid, and I go, oh my God, the real Gypsy Rose Lee, the real stripper.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting ready to pull my pants down, and I want to be alone when she comes on because they promo it all day. And then all of a sudden, this 900-year-old bag would walk out talking about stripping.
She looked like a caricature of Lucy.
I'd rather see my mom strip.
She'd have these big brown teeth.
Yeah.
She was one of those people who drew outside the lines of her lips.
Oh, yes.
Her lips.
She was
She would draw a mouth on.
She's what strippers really become. A lot of women got turned off to stripping after that.
And then she was one of those that thought it was like an art form.
Right, yeah.
She'd gone, well, in my day, we didn't strip. It wasn't an idea of sexual turn-ons. What we did was an art form. It was a dance art form.
Yeah, like stripping was different back then.
And I understand it used to take her an hour to take off a glove.
Her breast dragged on the floor.
The kings and the intelligentsia would watch strippers back then. We were not strippers. We were erotic dancers.
Yeah, I remember she'd go on Merv and go, Merv. Back then, I could spend an hour taking off one glove, and that would turn the men on. Yeah, right. That's how you do it. It's suggestion rather than showing it off.
And then they would also have Mom's Mabel.
Yeah, she was always on. She was a real mess.
Yeah. Merv, I have a joke about my husband died.
She's another one that takes an hour to get out the joke. And it's never funny, but you got to laugh way too hard because she's an old black woman.
She's an old black woman with no teeth.
Right.
So you had to laugh.
So my husband.
Come on, that was funny.
He said he wanted to be buried. And he would come out and kill me. So I buried him upside down.
And that was it. You know, you didn't want to show you were racist by not laughing.
Right, and you don't even know what she's talking about.
Old.
Yeah.
I laughed at Mom's Mabley.
And she was so old that she'd sit down on the couch and she'd
And offer treat you.
I remember one Mom's Mabley joke.
Offer treat you.
Mabley.
I would like to do a song
Merb.
today, Merb. Sonny, there's the day. Sonny, there's the day.
And then she used to do a little dance.
Yeah, dance. She had big shoes and big feet.
That was the thing with both George Burns and Mom's Mabley.
They had to do a little dance.
And just if they could stand up, that was enough as a dance.
People would applaud.
Yes.
I go, that ain't dancing, that's standing.
Yes.
What is that?
That's like shuffling before a stroke.
Yeah.
But I thought she was funny.
Well.
No.
James Cagney started to sound like Groucho Marx after his stroke.
What did he sound like? I don't remember.
Let me see if I can. He did that TV movie
With Matthew Broderick?
Oh,
No,
yes. Yeah,
was
he
it
played
Matthew?
a fighter.
Yeah.
Was Matthew Broderick? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Was it
James
Michael J.
Cagney.
Fox?
Well, whenever one gets old, they get so slow. And they
Yeah. He sounded like Groucho, but it was more like,
I'm a tough guy.
I remember him coming out. It was like a big deal that James Cagney was finally going to do a television interview.
and he looked horrible.
Yeah, he looked horrible. He was all fat, and his chins were hanging over his
You
shirt.
couldn't make out a word he was saying.
It was really funny because he stayed out of the limelight for years. He had a stroke. He started working.
Yes, same with Groucho.
I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy.
All of a sudden he was doing movies.
Isn't there anybody who can keep these guys off television? Jimmy Stewart used to go on Carson all the time, and I never understood why Carson liked him. Yeah, but the poems, and the poems went on way too long.
I had a dog, Bo, and Bo ran in the house. He chased a mouse.
And then it was like, oh, that's wonderful.
And Carson used to be into it and say, my favorite guest is Jimmy Stewart. When he does those poems, when he does those poems,
You forget that he's senile.
you really did.
You forget that he should have been dead about 50 years ago.
You know who that's happening to now? Barney Fife.
Oh yeah, we had a tape of Don Knotts. I wish I had those tapes right now. You didn't hear that, did you?
No.
Oh, he's like, you know. I can't even do it. It's just so good. It's just so good. Those shows are like what we do.
You know the time passed by.
Times pass by. Haven't spoken to Aunt Bee in a while. Doesn't even sound like Barney Fife anymore. He's 2 days away from poetry. He had a show.
You done? Do you have any poems for us?
Jimmy Stewart's with us tonight, and Jimmy, you agreed to give us one of your poems. Is that right?
I drink some water because I oughter. I have a daughter.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Very good.
That is one.
Isn't that great, Ed?
And it's so touching. Very touching.
Johnny was such a load. Did you hate Johnny? I hated Johnny.
Yeah.
And did you think it was odd how, like, he had, like, just with comedians, because he used to be a comedian, only some of those guys could sit down on the couch.
What the most horrible thing is at comedy clubs, it always, whenever there was a comic they knew on, everyone sat around the TV.
Right.
When they were doing the Tonight Show, and they go, oh, Johnny scratched his head.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah. You let him sit on the couch, and Johnny is such a prick.
Yeah.
That he wouldn't let,
with the comedians, if they do exceptionally well, I'll ask them to sit down on the couch. That's how you know they've done well.
Well, and the other move was if they didn't do well enough to get on the couch, you have to go back to Johnny for his reaction. And he said, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and there were like certain levels. There was good stuff, very clever.
Hey, Johnny rubbed his nose. Look it up. What does it mean?
Oh, yes.
Look it up in the book. But every bimbo who never did a thing in the world with big breasts was able to sit down next to Johnny and suck up to him. It was just unbelievable. I remember because David Brenner came on my show one time, and Johnny had let him sit next to him, and, it was his first time. That immediately changed David Brenner's career.
Yeah.
And he's like,
That was the moment. That was the moment in my life. You see, Carson was magical that way. You could just do a joke on Carson, and in the first minute, you know that the first time I did the Tonight Show, I had the head of Universal Studios run up to me and say, I'm going to make you a star. And that's I had not even finished my act yet. He had run up to me.
Right.
The same thing with my dear friend, Freddie Prinze.
Right.
God, I miss him.
You miss Freddie Prinze.
It was such a tragedy.
Same thing happened to you and Freddie Prinze.
Yeah, the same thing.
Same guy, head of Universal, called immediately.
I think with him it was the head of Paramount. And they had just introduced him. But he was magical. He was really a magical kid.
Magical performer, Freddie Prinze.
He was magical.
But I heard you never met Freddie.
No, no, but what I've read about him, he was magical.
But it changed your career when Johnny let you sit down.
Yeah, and now, after all these years, now I just turned 32.
Right. So you're feeling your age.
Yeah, I'm feeling my age. I just turned 32, and I feel older now.
You're more mature. And you see Johnny a lot even to this day?
To this day.
You went out to see Johnny in Malibu?
I wake up in the middle of the night and see him.
In your dream.
He just yawns up and goes, I never liked you.
And I understand you called Johnny before you did your talk show. You got your own talk show, didn't you, for a couple of weeks?
I called him. He told me to go after myself.
He did.
And then he hung up the phone.
He told you to pursue your dream.
Yes. He told, that's it. I'm sorry. He told me to pursue my dream.
Right, okay. Well, Gilbert Gottfried is with us. And we have to do the news. We have a time constraint today. Whenever you're here, we have a time constraint.
I got to limit you.
Right. Oh, God, I'd love to talk to you about... I mean, even like Johnny Carson's feud with Joan Rivers, that was the funniest.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny's such a dick. Like, no one else is allowed to do a talk show.
Still,
Johnny.
he's not speaking to her.
Yeah, not speaking to her.
20 years.
What I resented was we had given her a contract, and Joan misused me.
How's that, Johnny? You wacko.
We gave her a venue.
We gave her the venue.
Remember, everyone hated Joan Rivers because she started performing, and they felt she performed like it. She didn't give it enough time after her husband died.
Yeah.
That was the big scandal.
Let me say something. Yeah. I'm a married man. I love my wife, but if she died, I'd be dating tomorrow.
Joan wasn't even living with that guy.
Right. Joan was like divorced from him.
Yes.
Which is crying out loud.
And she started performing too soon.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't perform.
Yeah.
That's the most sensible thing to do. I'd be doing shtick at the wake.
Oh.
All right, let me take a break. Gilbert,
yes, let's not get into Joan's movie about it where she rolled all over Edgar's clothes.
Oh,
that was great.
What a fantastic film.
Why don't we get a copy of that and just talk over it?
Great.
Oh.
Why don't we get that Joan Rivers film and talk over it and stuff one day on the show?
Yeah, her and her daughter as themselves.
Yeah, right. That was the best.
Oh, and how they couldn't get into the synagogue at one point.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Jews wouldn't let her in because she didn't have a ticket.
She couldn't get into the prestigious synagogue.
They needed a parrot in that thing.
Yeah, the parrot should have been Joan's sidekick.
Listen to this. Gilbert Gottfried, maybe one of the funniest comics I could think of on the planet, will be at Caroline's Comedy Club tomorrow and Saturday.
Rarely performs now.
Rarely will he perform. Rarely, unless he needs money.
I'm giving up all my old material.
Is that right, Jerry?
Yeah, I've decided to quit my old material and devote my life to having sex with 2-year-old girls.
Jerry doesn't think it's funny. Jerry doesn't think it's funny. Robin sees him every day, and Jerry turns his head and won't look at Robin.
I'm not talking to her.
Yeah, because we made fun of the fact that he was dating a 16-year-old.
I do not like that colored woman or the man she works for. I am against it.
But what did you think as a comic? You would think that was funny?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Come on, he would have been making jokes if it was anybody else.
Oh, yes.
If you need to order Gilbert tickets at Caroline's, you got to call fast. 212-757-4100, because there's only like thousands left.
Oh.
212-757-4100. We'll be back with the news right after this. Howard Stern.
Sonny, yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sonny, you pounded me, you really ease the pain. The dog days are gone, my days are here. My
Howard Stern Show.
Hey, let me just tell you about Daytech Online. I'm having too good a time with Gilbert. The stock market has been climbing for the last few business days. Finally, some relief, Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert's in the stock market, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He's afraid to even call the stock market. He won't even call downstairs for an ambulance.
No, he's afraid they'll take his money.
I'm dying, but I'm afraid to call the ambulance.
Do I have to tip them?
I don't want it to be on the front page of the Post.
Oh, no, I can't call 911.
That's when I knew you were delusional.
I finally, like, about 10 years later, made, like, a little mention in the book.
Yeah, barely.
Phil Hartman
For a moment, he thought he was Madonna.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to call the ambulance because I was afraid I'd end up on the front page of the paper. 3 months later, he calls me, could you mention that I'm in the hospital?
Nobody noticed.
Nobody seems to notice. Daytech charges only $9.99 per online trade up to 5,000 shares, and they're so quick. If your marketable order is in do you have a computer yet?
No.
This is fantastic. You can order all your stocks stuff right over the computer.
It's unbelievable.
Trade and track your stocks and mutual funds 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you get all the research and news you need to make investment decisions. You think Gilbert would have a computer because he has nothing to do all day?
Yeah. I wrote a book about computers.
Be informed.
He should be on the internet for sure.
www.daytech.com. That's DATEK.com. Daytech Online member NASD SIPC and the Boston Stock Exchange.
This is Ratso Godfrey. And you're listening to the Howard Stern Show.
All right, Dracula Gottfried is with us. Gilbert Gottfried at Caroline's Comedy Club tomorrow and Saturday. If you want to order tickets, act quickly. Call 212-757-4100. Everybody trying to get in there.
Yeah.
So, there's so much to talk to Gilbert about. We got to have him back in.
There's so much in the news.
In the news. I mean, I want to tell you what we talked about during the commercial, but... it's crazy, Rob.
Never get through anything.
We need 17 hours for this show.
Why did Gilbert come in so late?
Why did you come in so late, you loafer?
Well, I get up and run.
Is that what it is? You exercise?
Yeah.
I was telling him all the Ratso stories.
Oh, great.
About the marine toilet paper. Oh, man. I'm dying to know whatever happened between Gilbert and Amy Heckerling's 12-year-old daughter. And he cursed out that 12-year-old. Is that still going on?
Sometimes.
Really? Do they still call you?
Have you been to dinner lately?
Oh, no. No, they haven't invited me back for dinner.
Yeah, Amy's movie kind of tanked the Roxbury boys.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You seem kind of happy about that.
I love when comedies bomb.
Right.
I love when any movie bombs.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because I get jealous when they're successful and, I hate when Jim Carrey does well.
Yeah.
I think he's a great talent, but I'd like to see him have a little failure in his life. It's horrible.
It's just like when I hear about somebody who has, a drug problem.
Right.
I'm always upset if it ends with them, getting off drugs.
I know. You want them to sink and die.
I hate when it's like a tale of courage. Then it's like I turn away. Yeah.
You're so low.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do some news with you, Gilbert, because...
I don't know where to start, Howard. There's so many...
Why don't you ask Gilbert for advice?
Yes.
Well, I have to tell you about this new fetish that I've discovered. I had never heard of this one before.
I bet you Gilbert's done it.
Wiping your ass and keeping the toilet paper.
It's called apatomenophilia. Do you know what that is?
Apatomenophilia, yes, I suffer from it. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Gilbert, you have that, don't you?
Yes.
Isn't that where you remove your appendix and it never heals?
Yes.
Right.
Well, that's very close.
Really?
Oh.
It's a fetish where people want a part of their body amputated.
Ooh. I've heard of this.
You have?
That's wild.
I wish they'd amputate my nose.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know
Wild
about
stuff.
this because in San Diego, there's a doctor on trial for murder because he cut off a guy's leg that was perfectly healthy because the guy wanted it cut off.
Right.
And then he died.
Oh, my. It was for cosmetic surgery. In other words, he felt he'd look better without a leg.
It's supposed to be some kind of a sexual thing.
Wow.
That you want to get your leg cut off.
What doctor would do that?
Oh, a doctor who's also been in trouble for performing operations to change people's sex and every other kind of thing.
Dr. Bombay. Call Dr. Bombay. We need our legs removed.
Oh, that was that
Bewitched.
English. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Bombay.
Yes.
Dr. Bombay.
This guy, Philip Bondi, was a 79-year-old guy from Manhattan's upper...
And who was Paul Lynn's character?
East Side. Paid to have his left leg amputated at a Mexican clinic to fulfill a lifelong fetish. This bizarre sexual drive known medically as apodomenophilia, or a desire to have a limb removed, was described by Greg Firth, who said he backed out of having the operation.
Right.
And guess how these people connect with each other?
How?
Over the internet.
Of course. That internet is dangerous.
I tell you. Now all these people can contact each other and they find friends.
Yeah, and they talk each other into doing stuff.
Right. So this guy paid money for the operation and then backed out at the last minute. So his friend said, "I'll do it," and jumped on the
Imagine
table.
wanting to remove your leg.
Oh, maybe his pants were too long.
You sound like a Groucho.
Maybe you should say that like Groucho.
Pants were too long.
First told in detail of his friend Bondi's compulsion, which he shared, and how it led them to John Ronald Brown, a 75-year-old former doctor from San Diego. Apparently, the guy just cut off the guy's leg in a hotel room in Mexico. And they were going to tell his family that he got into an accident down in Tijuana, and that's why he lost his leg. But the guy wound up, getting gangrene and dying.
That's odd, because Mexico's such an advanced country.
Gilbert, avoid your own voice.
Yes, exactly.
Do it in characters.
And, they discovered...
an advanced country.
They found all these anesthetizing drugs in the room and lots of bloody
when I was in
towels and so
Mexico,
forth. It was really a mess.
I was going, they would have hookers.
Hookers in Mexico.
Yes.
Right.
Investigators
Come
who
on.
were looking into
Would
Dr.
have
Brown's... I got to
sex.
go on.
You picked the wrong day to have to get out of here.
And they went to Dr. Brown's San Ysidro apartment.
Quiet.
They found bloody towel sheets and mattresses, as well as anesthetizing drugs. Investigators said they also found records of videotapes of sex change operations. After a multi-state follow-up
Did you have
investigation...
a sex change operation?
Brown also
So,
was charged.
now, what's your name now?
Sigh.
No, Sue, you idiot. All right, go ahead,
He
Robin.
was charged with...
Now, you were hurt.
Gilbert, we're in a rush, were you?
He was charged with
What?
injuring 8
Will
people.
you get a lawyer
whose
now?
gender was
That's what
changed.
a lawyer
Trying to turn down his
Oh,
mic.
you can't, huh?
No, it's impossible. His voice is so
Out
loud.
of control. Oh, boy. Did you see in the paper today that Frank Gifford is
Did you read
finally
the paper?
apologizing
Listen to this, Gilbert. Frank Gifford is
to
apologizing.
Kathy Lee for that tryst he had in a hotel room? It's in the
I am sorry.
Daily News today. He says that meeting Susan Johnson in a hotel room was the stupidest thing he's ever done.
No,
I don't
the
know.
first thing was marrying her.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing. Not knowing that you want to fool around.
He apologized for the pain he's caused his wife, Kathy Lee, and said
I
the
am
marriage
sorry.
is much stronger now. I was very foolish, very stupid, and fortunately I was married to a wonderful woman who knew that she was commanded to forgive me. That's what he told Larry King last night. But he said the Bible did not command his wife to forget his well-publicized transgression.
We got to get tape of that.
Much of the media storm was driven by the fact that Kathy Lee, this is their conjecture, is the co-host of the syndicated Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and had paraded her marriage on TV and in books as the nation's most perfect.
Right, that's what was so funny about it.
Gifford said the couple has patched up the once storybook union. We have a love affair, he said. Gifford said he promised Kathy Lee that he will spend the rest of his life trying to be the man that she thought he was.
Good luck.
His voice quavering. This is why we have to get it. I just about lost the most important thing in my life, and that is a woman I love very much. And my 2 kids.
I lost the most important woman in my life.
Hey, Gilbert, did you sleep with a woman who claimed to be a woman and then was a man? Never.
No.
All right, there's a post-op transsexual on the phone who says she can prove she slept with Gilbert, and Gilbert threw her out of the hotel room when he found out.
Okay.
Is there any truth to this?
No.
How
No.
did she prove it?
I don't know. How can you prove it, Karen?
Hello? Yes.
Yeah.
We were at Caroline's a couple years ago.
Yes.
After the show, we started having drinks. I had long blonde hair. I had my breast. I had everything except I still had the penis. And we were Gilbert, and don't laugh because you might have to remember this. We went back to the hotel room and we started to kiss. He took my top off. He was feeling on me, and then before we went any further, I told him, Gilbert, I have to tell you something. He said, what is it? I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm a guy. Just like that. And he looked at me and he was like in shock. sweating. It was.
Well, how can you prove this? Gilbert says it never happened.
It was at the Sheraton, Manhattan, I think it's called.
He would never stay there. It costs too much money.
Why would I stay at a hotel?
He's got an
in
apartment.
Manhattan?
That's where you took me, and when I told you, you were laughing. You said, "You're kidding, right?" I said, "Absolutely not." And
all right, well, there's no way to prove this, Robin.
Plus, if I brought her up, even if she had a penis, I would have said, well, all right.
Yeah. By the way,
picky.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Robin, go ahead.
Anyway, Frank Gifford is contrite, and we would
I love
to see the tape on Larry King.
We're going to get that for tomorrow.
And it was a big penis, too.
Relax.
He says that he found God through this whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you might call it foxhole Christianity, but I really found the God I thought I knew.
He better find God. He's at home with a holy roller.
What happened to me was an amazing spiritual experience that has made me stronger.
Yeah.
And he also attacked the tarring of his wife as a sweatshop queen after it was learned that the Walmart clothing line she endorsed was sewn by poorly paid immigrants in Manhattan sweatshops.
I don't know. It's never the same between a man and his wife when once she catches him cheating.
Sometimes it's better.
Really?
They can actually regain that love and trust.
Really?
Sure.
Maybe I should go out and cheat.
Try it.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's what's missing. I need a little of that.
Did you see that Montel Williams has admitted that he had double mastectomy?
What is he, a chick?
On a recent show about young breast cancer survivors, Montel Williams revealed that he had a double mastectomy at the age of 19.
No kidding.
Yeah. The 42-year-old...
Gilbert's all confused.
Yeah.
You should see everything.
What? He had breasts?
You see, he's got confusion. No, guys can get breast cancer over that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You'll get it.
Okay, I will.
Look at what Montel has to say. While I was in the Marines, I discovered
What's
I had
Gilbert going to say when he gets it? While I was in a hotel with a transsexual.
Man.
Right.
He says that he discovered a lump in his chest, and he had both of his breasts removed. They later discovered that the lump was benign.
Oh.
Loser.
And a spokesperson for his show says he never had reconstructive surgery.
I've seen him with his shirt off.
He built himself up through workouts.
So for Gilbert.
On
I should get
Saturday,
my breast removed.
Williams hosted a show featuring Carol M. Baldwin, who is the mother of the Baldwin brothers, and the...
Does your mother do any charity work, Gilbert? Is she like Carol Baldwin?
Yes. I get together with my 10 other brothers.
Right.
And
They're all in show business. Right.
Actually, they were at a gala.
Right.
And they were raising funds for breast cancer research.
Yes.
Yes.
So Montel is a survivor.
Wow. Does your mom ever come to your shows to see your...
No.
No. You don't allow it? Have they ever seen you perform? Your parents?
Just on TV.
I see.
Yeah.
Gilbert, what are you doing? It's not
Why do
funny.
you have to talk that way?
There's something bad up with that. Did you start performing as a 15-year-old?
Yes.
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 You will admit to that.
Did you sneak out of the house?
No.
Your mother allowed it?
Yeah, I think they were glad.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine that. A young Gilbert at 15. His comedy must have been very pure.
The funny thing is he looked just like he does now.
Yeah. He got laid more when he was 15.
Yes.
Hurricane Mitch is on its way to the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize and Honduras. So a hurricane watch is in effect, and people in those areas are fleeing. Here's James Free, who's that hurricane expert, to explain where Mitch is located right now.
Gilbert, do you want to know where Mitch is?
Yes.
James Free, Robin?
Yes, number one.
James Free is number one. Here we go.
The center of Hurricane Mitch was located about 35 miles north of the coast of Honduras, or very near the island of Guanaja. Hurricane has moved very little during the past several hours.
Well, then I closed my pool.
I don't think it's going to actually cause you any problems, Howard.
Right. Might cause Ratso problems. Isn't he on the water with a marine toilet? A $70,000 home?
To an Ed Friselic.
I don't remember reading that.
Kennedy Space Flight Center says that they don't expect Mitch to be a factor in. We'll see Senator John, or former Senator John
I don't
Glenn,
need peanuts.
returning to space, number 7.
Senator John Glenn is returning to space?
Yes, and this is Ed Paselic.
Hurricane Mitch is actually drifting toward the west-southwest. You know, it had been drifting kind of west-northwestward, so it's getting even farther away from us. And in addition, high pressure is moving down into the area.
Senator John Glenn says Thursday's launch will be like reliving a dream. Number 13.
It's like an insane asylum in here.
Ignoring you and just going on.
All these years, I'd always hoped I'd be able to go back up again, but through this, I really had no realistic hopes that would happen. But then,
Oh, pardon me.
what actually occurred was age became an advantage instead of a
But
disadvantage.
the gravity holds it back in.
They say it's been a joy to work with Senator Glenn, and he's supposed to be able to handle everything that's going to happen to him in space.
It must be very exciting for the other astronauts to be with such a seasoned professional.
President Clinton's credibility on Social Security has been questioned, but now he's coming out and talking about how he feels about the system and what he plans to do about it. He says he's going to keep in mind the obstacles to secure old age for women when he and lawmakers sit down to talk about Social Security's future at a White House conference in December. Mr. Clinton says women have a special concern. Number 3.
Women are very special to me. I have a special concern.
The hard fact remains that too many retired women, after providing for
I banged all the women at the conference.
their families, are having trouble providing for themselves.
The reason we have Senator Glenn going up in space is so we can study the diarrhea in zero gravity.
President Clinton says he has a plan to help women get more out of Social Security.
I am proposing that families be given the choice to receive less of their pension when both spouses are living, leaving more for the surviving spouse if the breadwinner dies. That should help keep elderly
And if the breadwinner dies, I can have sex with her.
out of poverty in their twilight years.
I like retired women because they can take their teeth out.
It's just funny when the president starts talking about women now and how he's going to take care of them.
I like to take care of my women. I like to buy them books of poetry. I do. I like Twilight.
Speaking of women, they say that more women
Yes.
than men die of heart attacks, and their first heart attack is usually more severe than the heart attack suffered by men. Many times women don't even recognize that they're having a heart attack because they have different symptoms than men. It's more than just chest pain. Here's Dr. Elizabeth Ross to tell us what it's like for women having a heart attack.
I like when my girlfriends have heart attacks because there's less evidence. Won't get caught.
Breathlessness or severe fatigue, back pain or shoulder pain may be signs of heart disease in women.
Talk about anal sex.
A new study says first heart attack is deadlier for women. It may be biology, not age, or other health problems that factor into the high mortality rate for women. Here's Dr. Ross again.
This study suggests that there may be some differences and that first heart attacks may be more
Dead broads tell no tales.
serious in women than in men.
Right, Gilbert?
Sometimes I chop the legs off.
I'm into that. You know what that's called? A menoplastoria.
Whatever.
Monica, eat your cyanide. Here, swallow 92 caffeine pills.
Athena Roussel is one of the richest little girls in the world. She's 13 years old.
She's a good girl.
And she's going to be on 2020 tonight.
All right.
Oh, I had sex with her.
All of her life, people have been squabbling over money.
Who are these people?
Right now, her father, who was her mother's ex-husband at the time of her death, Thierry Roussel, is fighting to gain more control of Athena's fortune. She says she has
I had sex with her, and it broke up her parents.
She has a novel approach to all of these problems. She'd like to burn the money. And nothing but a problem to her.
Who burns money?
One of her friends or trustees says Athena sees it as an ability to become like everybody else if she wasn't so wealthy.
No Jew would burn money. I wish she'd burn Monica.
I would burn money. This was years ago.
Is that right, Groucho? You burned money?
I would burn money. We were in Wyoming, and we were filming a Night at the Opera.
Right.
Now, Gummo would wear a jacket, and it was cold out. So that's what people would wear when it was cold, a jacket. Sometimes he would eat a sandwich because when people were hungry, they would eat something. It was you would put something between two pieces of bread and make. They would call it back then. It was 1901, and it was called a sandwich.
Even back then, it was called a sandwich.
It was called a sandwich. Sometimes we would open a window. Windows you could look out them because they had glass, and you could actually.
Let me interrupt you.
Groucho's talking, Robin. Don't be rude. He's an American icon.
Died of pneumonia at a Southern California hospital on October 17th. Gay, who was 84, fatally shot his son during a heated argument on April 1st of 1984.
Brush my teeth.
You're stepping on a legend, right?
Daredevil parachutist is at it again.
Parachute.
Alex.
Wait, come stop for a second there, Groucho. Shut up.
He'll ramble forever.
Right.
Thor Alex, as he identifies himself, took the elevator up to the 65th floor of New York City's landmark Chrysler building yesterday. He used the fire cord to climb down to the 61st floor.
You should do this, Gilbert. You get some attention.
Yeah. A New York Post quotes him as telling stunned office workers to relax because he wasn't committing suicide.
I would commit
Then,
suicide.
on the 61st floor, he climbed onto an eagle decoration and took the plunge.
I attempted suicide.
About 20 seconds later, he safely made it to the street where he grabbed his gear, hailed a cab, and took off. It's the Norwegian man's second jump in 4 days. On Saturday, he parachuted from the 86th floor of the Empire State Building. He'd like to do the World Trade Center, but he says the security there is way too good. That will have to wait.
Have his microphone off and he doesn't even know it.
A former Florida pastor has been convicted of sexually molesting a Florida teenager.
Oh.
The Reverend Joseph Millian was found guilty today of felony sexual activity with a 17-year-old.
Does she want to buy my book?
He had claimed he was checking the girl for virginity.
Right.
Even though he had no medical expertise. He faces up to 12 years in prison as a first-time offender. He's in jail until his sentencing in about a month.
Inappropriate loud laughter.
Oh, dear.
Parrot's here.
The parrot from that movie.
All right, let's get on with it. Sharon Stone is going to be the subject of an E! television profile tonight.
I did a movie with Sharon Stone. It was in 1901. It was a silent picture made by Monica.
This is my last story today. Here is Sharon talking about doing a fight scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall.
Wow.
I had to beat up Arnold Schwarzenegger.
She can't even say his name. How insulting is this woman? Yesterday she played a clip of her, how intelligent she is. Yes. She's telling us.
Peculiarly intelligent.
Peculiarly intelligent, she said. And she goes, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Karate, I trained, I circuit trained, I lifted weights. I was a maniac.
Shut up.
And so I eventually had to do this, karate, throwing him around scene. And
shut up.
I had to stuff out his body. But, you do...
Shut up.
The master from here, the master from there, the coverage from here. And this is a big fight sequence. I was hitting him a lot. I wasn't hitting him hard because you learn, in karate, you learn specifically where it will land. But
listen to this.
You stupid thing.
But here's Paul Verhoeven, the man who got her to cross and uncross her legs for...
I didn't know.
No, that wasn't him.
Yes.
He did Total Recall. He directed her.
Yes.
Oh, yes, he did. Basic Instinct as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
He says this about Sharon Stone.
I have not seen anybody in the last 20 years, at least not a woman, that can be so goddamn evil, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a movie. And make it believable.
Yeah.
And it's charming 3 seconds later.
Really?
So you mean off screen?
I think he means only on screen. And here is Sylvester Stallone talking about doing love scenes with Sharon Stone in The Specialist.
I expect she to come swooping into the room like George of the Jungle on a rope and land into the bed. Party time.
Party time.
Just the other way. Sistine Chapel. It was kind of like this very, religious experience of nervousness and a sense of, I don't know, blatant shyness.
There's another guy who has that intelligence.
Yeah, he's always telling everyone how
smart he is.
And now he's a great painter.
Sounds like one of those dogs from the Soupy Sales. Don't kiss.
And Gilbert, being a romantic, would like to know how Sharon Stone fell in love with her husband, Phil Bronstein.
Well, this might help Gilbert find a girlfriend.
So here's how what happened while they met in San Francisco.
He goes hiking every year by himself in the mountains, and he called me from this payphone in the mountains every night. And talked to me about life and books and...
Look how serious she get about her love.
Really made me laugh and made me think and...
Gilbert, you want to talk about how you fell in love. You know what he does? He answers ads for hookers. I was going through the...
I started to realize that I was starting to look forward to him getting back from his trip, which was really bugging me. And then...
Love.
He came back from the trip with wildflowers that he'd picked on the mountaintop in a plastic cup on the dash of his truck and brought them to
Such
the
a
set.
jack off.
What
What you talk about, Judith?
He held the flowers in his buttocks. Between each cheek was a different daisy.
I usually leave that out of the story.
I would like to share that with audiences.
There are some things that are between two people.
And finally this morning, I'd like to alert you that Barbara Streisand will conduct her first online chat on November 2nd on America Online.
Oh, I would like
She
to
will
get her.
chat with her friends from her home from 9 to 9:30.
She will only answer political questions, though, Robin.
You can't ask her anything about her personal life.
She will type with her nose.
You can join her at AOL.live on the web at www.aol.com.
Can I mention my webpage? Gilbert, when will you get on the internet?
She's selling tapes. She doesn't have a CD.
Well, that's it?
That's it. That's all
That's
I
all you have time for. You obviously have an appointment.
Yes.
Well.
Very busy.
Where are you going?
Yeah, where are you
Well,
going?
you tell me something about your personal life, Gilbert. I'll tell you something about mine.
I like women with penises. And I like men with flowers in their eyes.
Go ahead. You go. I'll tell Ratso. I mean, I'll tell whoever's here, Gilbert.
She's in a hurry.
Yeah, oh, she is. She told me she's in a hurry. Ratso buys a house.
Yeah.
And he's $70,000. And then it turns out, though, when he has to flush the toilet, if people make a number 2 and they wipe themselves, they have to put the toilet paper in a hamper. Well, Ratso goes, it's not so bad. I empty it every day.
Not so bad.
And they go, what do you mean it's not so bad? He goes, well, because, when you have a baby, you put all that stuff in you don't put it in the toilet. Oh, my God. You can't buy a closet for $70,000. I knew there was something wrong with the house.
Took a while to find out.
Yeah. Imagine emptying out people's duty papers. And he could buy marine toilet paper, which he can put in the toilet, but he won't because it costs 3 times more than regular toilet paper. People haven't had to do that since the Renaissance. Even you have indoor plumbing, right?
Well, they gave him no option. So when you go into the bathroom, you have to go...
Yeah, you have to hold your breath. Especially if you go to the bathroom around 5 or 6 o'clock at night.
Especially especially during the summer.
Right, it's really kind of smelly.
We got to go there.
We got to go to his house.
Field trip. Let's go have a card game.
Yeah, this is a hamper.
Let's eat a lot and then go there. I'm going to have diarrhea.
I'm a triple cheeseburger.
Oh.
We should go ahead and glue the hamper closed.
What's it doing on the floor?
Get in.
Man, when I heard...
supposed to put it in the hamper. You're messing up my $70,000 house.
I thought we just throw the toilet paper like on the floor.
Stick it to the wall.
It's new paint. But people stick artwork to the wall. It's not so big.
That must be some toilet. I mean, because he was saying to me, he was like, yeah. He goes, it's no big deal. Every night I wrap up the garbage and I take all the toilet tissue and throw it out. You know what that must smell like?
Sometimes I fold it up so we can use the big again. I take each paper and I fold it over.
But he goes to me, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Why would you buy a house where you have to, like, put used toilet tissue in a hamper?
Girls like it when they stop over.
Yeah, it's like sort of a natural... You know, it becomes almost like a reflex to throw it in the toilet.
Of course.
Right?
Coast Guard arrests me. Is this yours?
Mr. Sloman?
Is this toilet paper yours? Wait a second.
It's not mine. Someone forgot.
Mr. Sloman, we found something in the water.
I didn't take a crab.
Did you have corn for dinner last night?
Green Giant. There are no green peas in there.
We ought to go to that house, man. Let's take a trip out there.
I don't buy cashews.
Would you go out there, man, as a goof? If we picked him up?
Yeah.
You'd go.
Yeah.
You would go just to see that?
We should all go have a large pizza and then What's the pepperoni doing floating in the bay?
Because I said to Ratso, I said, how do you get a house for $70,000? He goes, it's fantastic. and I said, I heard it's in a black neighborhood. No, it's a mixed neighborhood.
Every time we talk to him,
he's white, everyone else is black.
Find something else out every time.
Yeah, right.
Slowly but surely.
And then we found out the water just floods in there all the time, and that you can't use toilet paper in the toilet.
Sometimes in the middle of
when that floods.
It wakes me up.
It's really a great house.
It gives the kids something to play with. No batteries needed.
He has to take a rowboat to get the mail. He rows by. Hey, my mail.
Is that a package or another turd?
You didn't go to his book reading, did you?
No, I must have been busy that day.
Book reading. Ratso put out this book called
Steal the Stream.
Steal the Stream, the story of Abby Hoffman. And I hear
this hamper.
And I hear they're thinking of making it into a 3D IMAX movie. You have a giant Abby Hoffman come at you.
80 feet?
80 foot high. He burns the American flag on you. The other day, Ratso told me he was sitting at home. Cubans rode up to his house. El Duque's parents got out of the boat.
You got room. Are you El Duque? Your sister. What's her name?
So the Cubans saw the bathroom and turned around.
We don't like these.
So that's the Ratso story. Use a hamper, but already the hamper's like half full. It's got to stink, right? I mean, doesn't that smell?
It's got to.
Yeah. Did you believe it? We gotta go out there, man. The hamper's got to smell.
So it's got to smell badly enough when it's closed, but then they have to open it.
You have to give people instructions.
Yeah, right. There's a sign. Can you imagine the decorating in this house? There's a sign on the back of the door telling you how to move your bowels.
Look, I don't mean to be purged.
His parents.
I gotta tell you something.
His parents, his girlfriend's parents all come there. Or could you imagine?
It's better to push when the tide goes out.
I don't care what happens, man. I wouldn't pick up that hamper. I'd just throw my toilet paper in the... Because he says it's like you go on a boat or in an airplane and they get the special toilets. And it says you can't put down any cloth or anything. Yeah. So he's going to buy special toilet paper. But he won't buy it. He says it's hard to find, but it's not. He says he's too cheap. His garbage man wants to kill him.
It's an activity.
He's in a marine community. You can get it.
What's the big deal? After all, he says, you have a baby, where'd you throw her the diapers? Oh. And I'm like, well, it's a little different. It's a baby.
He's just drinking milk.
And these are
adults. It's a celebrity. I saved the toilet paper. Look, Jerry Rubin was here. Look, it's Bobby Seale.
Joan Baez is coming. I'm going to serve barbecue chicken.
Eldridge Cooley.
Oh. And he says, I said, so what do? You empty out the hamper every night? Yeah, it's no big deal to the plastic bag. Oh, what a house that must be.
Doesn't everybody do that?
He goes, what's the big deal? You do it for a baby.
No, wait, Howard, here is the thing. Because you got to reach over with one hand to open it up.
Right.
Because you can't reach over with your foot to open a
unless you open it up first and you leave it open while you're moving.
Yeah. So you lean over with one hand. You got to avoid everything with your right hand so you don't rub it on anything.
Right.
It takes practice.
You must have the whole room painted brown so you can't see.
I jump shot.
You're ambidextrous.
I imagine a Magic Johnson, and I throw it from across the room.
He has to come explain
the
that.
The crowd roars. As Ratso goes up to the hamper, I've got a soiled... He shoots it in the basket.
Christy, go long.
I'm going to do a chest pass.
I'm America's hero again.
Don't make me laugh. I'm going to have a heart attack. Shoot.
It's at the bottom of the game. Only one man can save them.
I get out of here. I swear to God, I would end rats on my toilet paper.
I dribble the toilet paper, and then I shoot. It's in the basket.
We gotta go out there. We gotta go out there.
Imagine we're sitting around having dinner and all of a sudden somebody goes in to use the bathroom. We have a problem. Ratso must have to get up every 2 seconds.
Now I had the hamper all the way across the room.
What do you mean it's full?
Hey, Gary, get Ratso on the phone. I gotta understand how you open the hamper while you're moving your bowels.
There's got to be an intercom between the bathroom and the rest of the house.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Maybe there's an instruction sheet, you know.
Oh, my God. Oh. I don't know if I can get him on the phone. But anyway, hey, Gilbert Gottfried. All right, can you give him a quick call? I've got questions. Gilbert Gottfried will be at Caroline's Comedy Club tomorrow and Saturday. To order tickets, call 212-757-4100. I've never laughed so hard in my life. My heart hurts. I have chest pains. It's just incredible. There's nothing funnier than his life. Nothing. Except when Gilbert's in the hospital. Thinking of giving up comedy. I'm thinking of
I'm thinking of shitting in the bag.
I mean, what's the point?
Howard, he's not home.
Oh, no.
Sure
I'm buying paper.
Mini paper.
right, so Gilbert, we know where he's going to be. He's order tickets 212-757-4100 for Caroline's. Jackie Penthouse Joke Page Martling, Thursday, November 12th at Rascals Comedy Club in West Orange, New Jersey. Tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. at Strawberries in Avon, Connecticut. And he'll be signing his new Oleo CD, Hot Dogs and Donuts. For information and filthy animated jokes, visit jokeland.com. Our thanks to David Wolf. His book, Nature's First Law, is available by calling 888-RAW-FOOD or by visiting rawfood.com. Also on Amazon.com. Thanks to Dr. Johnson, who was abducted by aliens, for coming on the show also. Remember, if Leslie Glass is the Penthouse pet who has colon cancer, she needs money to cover a medical bill. She's having a benefit tonight at China Club where you can meet Penthouse Pets Paige Summers and Nikki St. Gilles. I know you'd like to meet them, Gilbert. Take them over to Ratso's. $20 donation requested at the door. Okay, don't miss Stuttering John. His band will be playing Hell Night at Jitterbugs in Edwardsville, Pennsylvania this Friday night, and John's band will be a Great Adventure in New Jersey this Saturday night, Halloween, promoting his new album. Thanks, Gilbert.